Okay, welcome folks. It's 7:03 Pacific time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Open Mainframe Project webinar. Today we are going to focus on Zowe, all things Zowe, squads, training programs, and badges. I'd like to welcome our speakers, Jakub Balhar and Darren Surch. And just to let you know, we are recording this and we'll be posting this on the Open Mainframe Project YouTube channel. And so if you have questions or feedback as we are presenting, go ahead and use the chat or the Q&A function. With that, I will turn it over to Jakub.
Hey everyone, as I was already mentioned, I'm Jakub Balhar. I'm the Zowe TSC chair, so if there is anything you hate about Zowe, please let me know. If there is anything you like, please share it with everybody else. Darren, do you want to present yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Jakub. My name's Darren Surch, CEO of Interskill Learning, and this year, an Open Mainframe Project ambassador. So thank you for that honor. Looking forward to chatting with everyone today about all of the training that's out there for Zowe and showing you a little bit of a demo as well. But Jakub, you're leading this, so take her away.
So as for what we will talk about in general, we will be talking about how Zowe works internally, what are our squads and what does it mean and how you can participate. Where do you find more information if you are interested in anything around Zowe? And then we will move on into training that's provided by Interskill and the badges that you can get by finishing the Interskill training. So let's start with the general Zowe and governance. Zowe is a project that lives within the Open Mainframe Project umbrella. It therefore does abide by all of the rules that are typical for the Open Mainframe Project and Linux Foundation project. But it also has an internal structure. It's not a free people project where we can just easily live with, hey, we will meet once a week and that's all. Right now, there are around 40 to 50 active developers involved in Zowe. And as such, we need to coordinate a bit more. The two main vehicles that we've created to coordinate effectively is first the Technical Steering Committee. This is basically the governing board of Zowe, where members of each squad are joining and discussing the topics that are spanning more than one squad. This is also where all the key discussions and agreements has to happen in order for them to apply to the Zowe. So for example, when we are releasing Zowe, the Technical Steering Committee needs to give approval. The same goes for creation of a new squad, addition of a new project into the core of a Zowe, and other functions that are going to impact everybody across the whole Zowe. Another vehicle that we have for influencing the direction of Zowe is the Zowe Advisory Council. Zowe Advisory Council is meeting once every week. And the goal of this group is to help us understand where we as Zowe should go. So it's if you are in a traditional company, it would be a lot like product arm of the company is meeting in the Zowe Advisory Council, and the Technical Steering Committee is kind of the engineering leadership and engineering arm for the whole organization. The Technical Steering Committee chair is joining the ZAC meetings to bring all the inputs and information that they discuss back to the Technical Steering Committee and make sure that the decisions are influenced by what's being discussed there. Other than these two high-level committees or councils, we've got a few work groups that are formed from members of each squad. The key ones are security and release. For anyone who is interested in security, it's a private work group. We don't generally invite people unless we know them well and understand how exactly they will improve the security posture for Zowe. But this is the group where we discuss all topics around the dependencies, vulnerabilities that are found within Zowe itself, and making sure that they are properly handled, and then that they are shared with the wider audience in the appropriate timelines. All the information around this are available on the zowe.org around security. The release work group is important as it's an internal vehicle for making sure that we release together, and when we release Zowe that everything works together. But it's not really interesting usually for external people unless you are extender and want to be part of the validation process for the Zowe release, then let me know and you can join. There is nothing secret about it. It's just we are not trying actively to make it larger. Then we get to the actual squads. Squads, you may think of a squad as a smaller team or a project within Zowe, but it's better to think of it as a team. And these teams have a different responsibilities. In general, we have three types of squads. We've got development squads that are developing one or more projects. I will go into more details on which ones we actually have. Operational squads, these are teams that are taking care of operational involvement in the Zowe, like making sure that we are able to release, making sure that our documentation is valid, correct, and up to date. We are not that great with that, but we are doing our best. And then it's possible to be an incubation squad, which is a squad that's not mature yet, that usually is a new group people that wants to be involved in Zowe with some kind of idea or project that they want to work on. So it's kind of like a startup, small startup within Zowe that's trying to prove that the idea that they are bringing has a value, and either they succeed and then they become part of a squad, or they become part of some squad or create a fully active squad, or they fail and then they leave the Zowe incubator and do something else usually. So as for all the squads that we have as of now, the valid list is always living within the github.com/Zowe/community repository. I think that this presentation will be shared and the squad's name links to the specific place where you can find it. I've outlined we have right now 6 development squads, 3 operational squad, and 1 incubation. The development ones are highlighted in bold on this example. The operational ones are standard, and the grayed out is the only incubation squad we have right now, though we may again get one more in this area in the near future. Let's go through the squads one by one. I will be always explaining what projects the squad is responsible for. The squads can be responsible for one or more projects. It doesn't have to be one squad, one project. It's just that every project has to have a squad. Every squad must meet on a weekly basis. So if you want to be involved with the squad, every squad has a meeting on the calendar. And I will be telling you in the Eastern time when they are meeting. Sadly, most of the people involved as of now are in Eastern time or Europe. So it tends to be generally more towards like the earlier time frames for people that are more to the west, or too late for people that are more to the east, sadly. The first squad is the API mediation layer. API mediation layer squad is responsible for API mediation layer itself. It's also responsible for the SDKs that are provided for the server side. So the libraries that you can integrate in your application to onboard your service into the API mediation layer. This group is meeting on Monday mornings, Eastern time. It's a 30 minutes meeting, and the squad discussion lives in the Open Mainframe Project Slack in the Zowe APIML channel. So if you want to figure out whether there is something on agenda for you, then Friday, your time, there should be an agenda posted with what exactly we want to discuss and agree on for a Monday. If you want to get involved directly or you are unsure about anything, then always you may reach out to squad lead. In this case, it's me. So if you have any questions around APIML, concerns, or any problems with it, like feel free to reach out and I will try to do my best to help you. Also, if you are interested in more details, then go to the zowe.org. And then if you scroll a bit down, you will see all the projects. And for every project, you will see what stage it is in. You can see an example here on the right side. You can see that APM edition there is long-term support. That means that we follow the whole Zowe release schedule. Long-term support for us means that every major version is supported for 4.5 years, 2 years in the active phase and 2.5 years in a maintenance phase. And then you can see whether it's core or extension. Again, if it's core, then it's released together with the rest of the Zowe, and we are validating that the things work together. If it's an extension, then it depends on the squad. It's not Zowe as such. The squad releases it. It probably and usually follows to some extent, but not 100%. Next squad that we have in the development space is a CLI. This is most probably what most of you have been involved with to some extent. They are responsible for the command line tool to access the mainframe and use the ZOSMF to provide the commands, or FTP. There is an extension as well. The squad is mainly based as of now in the US. It's in eastern side of the US. The meetings are happening on Monday mornings, but not as early mornings as the previous one. And as you can see here, the squad is responsible for more than one project. Specifically, CLI is responsible for the CLI, for the Node.js SDK that the CLI and the VS Code explorers are built upon. And on top of that, it also helps with the development of the Python SDK. So if you have any questions or you want to improve Python SDK or care about it, then these people are the right ones to help you with that. The squad lead for the CLI is Adam Wolfe. As you can see again, there is an email that you can reach out to him directly. Other than that, there is also Zowe CLI channel within Open Mainframe Project when you can ask any questions or get any general help or provide your feedback. Next squad is the first operational squad. It's the documentation squad. This group is responsible for the Zowe docs site. So if you've ever been looking for anything or Zowe docs or creating any issues there, then these are the people that are going through them, taking a look, improving the languages, trying to make sure that we have everything well documented and at least somewhat readable. But they work with engineers, so be kind to them. It's sometimes difficult. They are meeting soon on the Thursday morning. The project is the actual Zowe docs site. It lives in the GitHub, just like any other project. And the squad lead, if you want to reach out directly to, is Andrew Jandacek. Again, you can see the link here if you need to. Next squad is the explorers. This is another area that I guess most of you have seen or heard about, is the Zowe extension for VS Code. As of now, there have been approximately 700,000 downloads with more than 100,000 users actually using it as of currently. This group is meeting on Tuesdays around noon. The squad lead is Timothy Johnson, and they have only one project. Next squad is very similar, but you probably didn't hear of it, or at least not as much. It's IntelliJ plugin for, or Zowe plugin for IntelliJ. It's a similar extension as the one for VS Code. It's just for a different IDE platform. This group is mostly based in Eastern Europe, so they are having the meetings soon in Tuesday mornings. So for people in Pacific, it's gonna be something like 6 a.m. So it's really tough. But it's possible to reach out to them via Slack, Zowe IntelliJ, or reach out directly, and they will figure out with you how you can get involved and how you can help with them, work with them. They have 4 projects that they are working on. Apart from the Zowe extension, they are also working on Kotlin and Java SDK. This is similar to the Node.js SDK I've talked about for CLI. So if you want to integrate with the ZOS platform and the ZOSMF using other languages than JavaScript or Python, and these languages are Kotlin or Java, these people are going to be able to help you. And other than that, if you run your CI/CD pipelines in Jenkins, they also provide a plugin for Jenkins that integrate nicely with Zowe and makes it easier for you to access your mainframe from the Jenkins server. I have a question how we can contribute to this. If it's around IntelliJ plugin and projects here, then the easiest answer is to reach out to Vladislav and he will help you. The less easier answer is that in the OMP Slack, there is a channel, Zowe IntelliJ plugin. You can reach out there and they will help you in how to. And even less obvious answer is that there are actual GitHub repositories for each of these. So if you go github.com/Zowe, then you can search for either Kotlin, Java, Jenkins, or Zowe extension for IntelliJ, and there you will find the source code, the issues, so anything that you may need in order to be like part of it. It does include the contribute MD, where they outline how exactly you can contribute. And if you are still unsure, then there are links in the Zowe docs. If you go to Zowe docs and search for Zowe extension for IntelliJ or IntelliJ, you will find the information about how to use it, where you can contribute, who are the people responsible, and so on. The next squad is onboarding. This is a squad that focuses on helping new people onboard to Zowe. If you are here and you are confused, then we are not doing such a great job. So let's hope that we will do better. We are meeting on Friday mornings, and our main responsibility, other than trying to help people on board to Zowe, and that means to use Zowe as well as to join Zowe as a contributors. We are responsible for the zowe.org webpage. So if you like it, share it with others. If you hate it, let us know. We see it as a primary resource for somebody who is new to Zowe and doesn't have any experience. If you are already coming in and you know what Zowe is, then we expect you more to aim towards the Zowe docs. And it's how it's built. Squad lead is Rose Sakech. If you are interested in being onboarded or helping with onboarding others, reach out to her and she will help you. Again, there is also Zowe onboarding channel on the Slack. System squad is one of those operational squads that are really well hidden from the common site, but they are insanely important. Apart from actually releasing Zowe, they are also responsible for the whole installation and configuration process. The squad is really small as of now, so the improvements are slower than we would like to. But if you have any problems with the Zowe installation and configuration or want to help, then reach out to Mark and he will be able to help you in understanding how you can actually help. And we would be more than happy. It's one of the things that we are focusing on, but it's moving too slow. The meetings are happening around noon on Thursday, just after the TSC call, which is happening Thursday 10 to 11. In general, the project, it's kind of a complex project as it's an operational, but they are responsible for installation, packaging, and configuration. Last active squad that we had, no, the one before last squad that we have is the Web UI squad. Some of you are familiar with the virtual desktop that comes with Zowe. If you install the Zowe server side and via your browser, you can get access to Windows-like or Mac-like environment where you can use GUIs built on top of the browser to access your mainframe. There are few applications that are provided by default. There are like the N3270 terminal or editor for the datasets and USS files. But you can also create your own extension and install them into this virtual desktop. IBM is doing this with their DB2 foundations. There are a few other extensions from Rocket, and Broadcom also have one, I think, Datacom Health Checker, and other vendors also have other extensions. So even if you have your own product, or if you are using products of these vendors, you can ask them to help you get it into the virtual desktop. The squad lead is James Struga. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to him. The meetings are happening Friday morning time, 9 to 10 Eastern. And despite this looking like just one project. It's split across like 10 GitHub repository, and it's a quite a lot of code actually living in under this umbrella. And the last squad, and this is the last active squad, is the Zowe squad. This is responsible for our 2 servers that are running directly as a C code on a mainframe platform. It's the ZSS and ZIS. Apart from that, they are also part of development of the configuration manager, which is an utility that we use to understand the configuration zowe.yaml file that some of you may have seen by now. It's on the server side. If you are interested to get involved, the squad meetings are happening on Thursday after the TSC. And the squad lead that you can reach out to is Joe Devlin. There is also a Zowe ZOS channel within the OMP Slack if you want to ask questions or participate. With this, I've been through all the squads. I didn't talk more about the incubation Zowe chat as it's kind of like in the stasis right now, so there is not much to tell. But if you are interested in the project of Zowe chat, go to the Zowe docs. There are some preliminary information for the technical preview. And if you are interested in more, then Mark Ackert will definitely be able to help you. We've already seen his information on the previous pages for other squads. In general, I'm linking here 4 key resources that may be relevant for you if you are joining Zowe. Is the zowe.org, which is focused more on the first-time users with some announcements, and for now the vNext web page where you can get information about the next major version. There is the docs.zowe.org for returning users. So if you are looking for new information, what we are really saying, how do you use certain features, how do you install and configure, then Zowe docs is your place to go. There is the OMP Slack. The link was also shared by May in the chat. So you can ask and discuss things there if you want. And the last area is the GitHub community repository, which provides the main information about what's happening, who are the people involved, everything, all the policies, all the governance stuff that's related to Zowe is living within this space. So this is the main resource if you are interested more in how Zowe actually works internally and what are their internal policies and how do we organize ourselves and so on. And with this, I'm giving it to Darren, who will tell us more about training.
Jakub, well done. Brilliant. Thanks for all you do for Zowe and the Open Mainframe Project. That's remarkable, mate. If you would like to go to the next slide for me, Jakub will drive through these next few slides, and then I'll share my screen and show you how to log in and get access to the Zowe courses and earn the Zowe badge. So this is the headline, I suppose. Build your Zowe skills. Zowe is really, really important to your mainframe career. So get to know Zowe, build your skills, and use it for everything that it can be, and hopefully be a part of the Open Mainframe Project and start to contribute and feedback and so on and so forth. This is an amazing community, very, very, very active. The Zowe community, the Open Mainframe Project community, and I got to say, from being 30 years in the mainframe space, some of the coolest people in the mainframe space are attached to this Zowe project. So it's a lot of fun, I suppose, but very cool to be a part of. Jakub, if you could go to the next slide for me, please. So as I said, I'll show you the course that Interskill developed with the Open Mainframe Project as we go through. But just here on zowe.org, there's so much content to pick up your skills and learn about Zowe. So just go to zowe.org, click on the tab, it's right in the middle, learn, and there's all those Zowe docs to get started. There are a whole lot more than just Zowe docs. I mean, there's all sorts of links and screen grabs and all sorts of instruction and so forth. So they're very, very cool. There's lots of stuff on YouTube, the walkthroughs. You can read this as good as I can, but you can try Zowe without an installation. I suppose my advice is join the community. That's the bottom right one there, but just join the community, whether it's through Slack or watching webinars like this, or on LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. It's a really active community full of very cool folk, and they're always happy to talk to you about Zowe and help you with stuff and so on and so forth. So become a part of that if you want to learn about Zowe. But the get started is really brilliant. So tons of resources here at zowe.org. Jakub, if you want to jump to the next slide for me, please. As I said, Interskill collaborated with the Open Mainframe Project. Interskill's the biggest mainframe training provider in the world. We deliver online mainframe training, about just under 1 million hours of training a year globally. So most mainframe organizations use this e-learning online training as the core of their mainframe workforce training programs. So when Zowe started to become prominent, we reached out straight away and said it's important that there's a Zowe course. We're offering it out free to the world. So it's absolutely free. Go to interskill.com/Zowe, nice and easy to remember, and sign up, and we'll give you access free to the Zowe course. Next slide, please, Jakub. This is the course. It's a 3-hour course plus a mastery test, so it won't eat into your time too much. There's intro, working with Zowe, and Zowe installation and customization. Here's a little teaser. You would have seen it in the sign up for this webinar. We're currently working with the Open Mainframe Project to do an advanced Zowe course. Again, online course that'll also be available free to the world. And that'll be released late this year sometime. We haven't exactly got a release date for that yet, but get started on this one. This will teach you a lot of stuff about Zowe. If you'd like to go to the next slide, please, Jakub. And this is the cool stuff. For any of you that spend any time on LinkedIn, you'll see all the IBM digital badges that people put up there showing their mainframe skills, their prowess, the training that they've done. We wanted to work with Open Mainframe Project to do a specific OMP badge. This is very, very cool. So I hope to see lots more. There's been an enormous number of these things awarded so far. But if you complete the course, you will automatically get this digital credential from the Open Mainframe Project and pop it up on LinkedIn and have the mainframe world tell you how awesome you are for earning this thing. But it'll let people know that you've got skills in this very important part of the mainframe space, Zowe. Next slide, please, Jakub. And then, there we go. I may get you to stop sharing, and then I will share my screen. All done so smoothly, isn't it? And here we go. Got there eventually. So we won't go through a whole 1-hour module or anything, but I'll take you in. The Interskill Learning Management System is on interskill.com. A good percentage, a majority of the mainframe organizations in the world already have licenses with Interskill. So if that's the case, if your organization already uses Interskill's 400 odd courses and everything else for your organization, then just log in as you normally would on this LMS or on your corporate LMS and access the courses. The Zowe course will be there and you will earn the badge. So don't bother going to interskill.com/Zowe and signing up for a complimentary account. Just access it on your normal Interskill account and complete the course and earn the badge. If your organization doesn't already use Interskill, then again, go to interskill.com/Zowe and send in a request and we will sign you up for free. Then you'll get to the learning management system. I'm logging in as a learner. And there we go. So I've logged in as a learner, and I can either go to badges and assign myself the Zowe badge, so it gives me the courses that I need, or I can, I want to go to not learning plans, go to courses, and you'll have whichever courses you have assigned to you. But I'm going to go down. Here's Zowe. I actually did the introduction to Zowe yesterday, just to go through it. Let's try this. because I played around in this morning. And let's start from the beginning. Okay, these are asynchronous e-learning courses, so you can do them at your own speed. If you can spend 10, 15 minutes on it and then you get called away for some work, or you have to go and do something else, when you come back, you can just continue on from where you left off. Even if you have to sign out and come back again a week later, you can continue from where you left off. All of these courses are indexed, so you can use them as a reference as well, play around, go to different parts of the courses and use them as a reference, or you can use them as structured training. So there's self-paced, available, 365 days of the year, 24 hours a day. There's lots of interactivity. Here we go, working with Zowe. At the end of this module, you'll be able to describe Zowe server components, understand Zowe client components, and specify how Zowe functionality can be expanded. I will spare you me going through and reading too much of this, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of what the pages look like. It's nice and easy to click through. There's a glossary up here on the menu, a table of contents. The glossary will tell you what certain terms mean if you're not familiar with them, what certain words mean, and so on and so forth. So this talks about the Zowe components. Things like this, the courses are really quite interactive. It'll give you a nice red prompt here to say mouse over. So the Zowe startup script starts up the other processes that performs the Zowe tasks, including the API mediation layer gateway, API catalog, extensions such as MVS Explorer and the TN3270 emulator. But if you start moving around on these, it'll explain what each of these are. And you can have a bit of fun exploring and learning about these things. All of these courses are quizzed and tested. So throughout, as you get through 10, 15 pages and interactions, you'll have a quiz. It'll start asking you questions, make sure you understand what's going on, and then continue on with more learning and then more quizzes. And at the end of each 1 hour module, there'll actually be a test. You have to pass that test at 80% to continue on to the next module, or otherwise you can go back and do it again from the start. If there's any things that you missed, it'll tell you what you missed and you can continue on. So just good quality structured training. Mouse over these as well. Again, more explanations based on a diagram. I'm sure that everybody on this call has done some e-learning before, so you'll be familiar with a lot of this stuff. Again, some nice information on these commands. Trying to think what else to show you. You will, I've seen a lot of this stuff before. What do we got here? We can show on large diagrams like this, you can hide or show the actual text that's talking to you about it so that you can see that a little bit better. These sorts of things are very cool as well. It'll show you, as it says, Zowe on ZOS does not work alone. It uses other ZOS features and products. And so it'll walk you through all of these features and products related as you scroll through. Cool. And as I said, you'll get quizzes and a final test at the end of each module. All of this is recorded back. You'll have to pass each one at 80%, each of the courses, each of the modules rather. And then if you do that at the end, when you pass the mastery test, you will get an email from Credly, which is the digital credentialing platform that Interskill uses, that IBM uses. It's one of the most prominent ones in the world. You'll get an email from Credly saying, congratulations, you've earned this Open Mainframe Project badge, and you'll be able to just click on that and accept it and show it off on LinkedIn and Twitter and wherever else you want to show these things off. So I won't go through the whole module. That's 12 pages in. I will exit back out. And I can go back in, as showed before, I can go back in and start again from where I left off, or I can start again from the start. All of these things are available 365 days of the year. So you have open access to it, the Zowe course. I will stop share and leave it there. And Jakub and I will open it up for questions. May, did you want to cover anything else before we start answering questions, or what would you like to do now?
No, we can take questions. Does anyone have any questions? We can, I think you can take yourself off mute or you can type them in the Q&A.
Maybe as a note, I did this course and it's really just like 3 hours and it's very useful. Worthwhile investment.
Yeah,
And I know I wrote most of these things and still they were useful things.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We work closely with the Open Mainframe Project, obviously, to write these courses, and it goes through a lot of quality control with the people at Open Mainframe Project. So it's spot on, and we update it as well as new things come out with Zowe. We're continually updating the course. So because it's on a learning management system, this is the beauty of e-learning. When you log in, you will be accessing the latest, greatest training from the Open Mainframe Project and Interskill. It'll be the latest of Zowe. So you don't have to worry about accessing out-of-date training. It'll always be updated and current on the online version, which in the training space is very, very cool to be able to do that.
Awesome. It doesn't look like we have any
No questions.
questions.
So let's hope that it's because everything was clear.
Okay, well, with that, we will close out the webinar. We will just remind you, I think Jakub on the next slide, to follow Open Mainframe Project on our social channels. We have LinkedIn and X or Twitter. I'd like to thank Darren and Jakub for their presentations. Oh, we do have one question. Hello, Darren. Thank you for letting me know about the new badge training. I thought I already had the Zowe Foundations. Always useful to hear from you. That
Hey,
is
Lena.
Lena.
She's fantastic. Yeah, there was an IBM badge a year or so ago. So if you've learned that, please go in and do the latest course and earn the new Open Mainframe Project badge. It's very, very cool. Not saying that IBM badges aren't cool, but an Open Mainframe Project badge, that's very, very exclusive, and it'll show you're up with the latest and greatest with Zowe.
Awesome. And then we also have a thank you from Bertrand. So thank you all.
Hey, Bertrand.
Okay, perfect. Well, if, like we said at the beginning of this webinar, this has been recorded and will be posted on the Open Mainframe Project YouTube channel early next week. And so if you want to revisit the webinar, or if you want to join the Zowe meetings, the links are in the chat. Also go to zowe.org and you can find everything there. Thank you so much, Darren and Jakub. Hopefully we'll get more folks in the community signing up for the programs and for the meetings.
And if I may, sorry, no pun intended. Next April 7th, so about a week from now, I think the Sunday week, is the 60th birthday of the mainframe, April 7th, 1964. So sad to say, about a year before I was born. The IBM released the System 360, the mainframe that came first. And so we're 60 years on now. This Open Mainframe Project and Zowe are just a wonderful continuation of this amazing community, this amazing industry. But make sure you wish the mainframe a happy 60th birthday on next week. There'll be a lot of stuff on social media about mainframe's 60th birthday, so get involved.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.
Thank you, Mai.
Thanks, Jakub.
Thank you.